Hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining. Welcome to this week's edition of Tech Thursday for Parents. If you can hear me loud and clear, just drop a wave and say hello, can hear you. Hi, Maiwa. Hello, Kike. Hello, Simbo. Hello, Bumi. Okay, we're going to wait for more people are going to join us, but we're going to get started. So the feedback I got after last week's first edition of Tech Thursdays was absolutely amazing. Thank you for all of you who reached out to me and said you learned a lot, you loved it, we should continue. So for everyone who's here for the first time, let me introduce myself and then talk about what Tech Thursdays is, and we're going to get right in. So my name is Yeti Williams, and I'm the founder and CEO of LagosMums. LagosMums is a community for raising children in the 21st century, and we discuss everything that has to do with raising our children in this world. And the biggest challenge of raising children today is what? Digital media, social media, technology. When is it too much? So what I wanted to be doing every Thursday was to have a very quick 30-minute chat where I bring up a different topic every week. Sometimes the questions are because of repeated questions from parents or things that are happening in the world or just things that we need to know as parents raising children in today's world. So if you watched last week's episode, that's great. And if you didn't, you can catch it because it's on our page. The replay is available on our page. Okay, so today we are talking about a new topic that has been around for a very, very long time, but it's taken a different dimension because of the digital world. So before I jump in, can you just share a few things with me? I'd like you to tell me where you're tuning in from and how old your children are. So real quick, I'm going to give 1 minute for that. In the comment section, just let me know where you're tuning in from and the age range of your children. So are your children 2 years old, 5 years old? Just let me know. Just let me know real quick so that we also know who's live and who's here with us. So I'll wait for you to do that with me for 1 minute. Right, so while we wait for everybody to drop that, I am going to just give a little bit of the ground rules for how this is going to work. I'm going to cover the topic for today, and then we're going to have time for Q&A. And this video is going to be available for replay. So please make sure you go tell your friends to join us, to come on, and to listen. So, okay. I don't know if it's my internet, but I'm not seeing anybody's comments yet. Okay, here we go. I'm getting answers, questions sent to me. All right, somebody's from Lagos with a 6 and 4 year old. All right, we have from the UK, you have a 2-year-old. Who else wants to share? All right, so let me go into the topic for today. The topic today is increase in online bullying. Now, everybody knows bullying has been around for as long as maybe humanity. A lot of people got bullied in school. A lot of people's children right now are being bullied. The truth is that bullying is something that has always been around. We're hoping it will continue to reduce, but it's here and people face it on a daily basis in school or on the field or in their estate or wherever it is that they may be. But one of the things that's increasing is online bullying. And essentially, it is people who take the act of bullying and they're bringing it online. So it's actually increased for two reasons. One is so many people, so many children are using social media, are online, are on technology, their smart devices all day, every day, because they're at home, because of the pandemic, because of the lockdown. So they've had to go online to continue to engage with the world. However, what that also means is that all the vices that come with being online have also increased astronomically. So we are seeing much more reports of increase in online bullying. So I want to first of all define what bullying is. Bullying is when you are unkind to somebody, you make them feel uncomfortable, you make them feel less than they are, you threaten them, they just don't feel safe. They don't feel okay with themselves because somebody else is making them feel horrible for whatever series of reasons. Now, when this is happening online, one of the characteristics of online bullying is that it's actually worse. Yes, let me say that again. Online bullying is actually worse than physical bullying because the bully behind the screen is actually nastier and meaner than when they are bullying physically. You know why? They are hiding behind the screen, they're hiding behind the virtual wall, and they feel they can get away with anything that they're doing. So that is why it's really dangerous actually for children to be victims of online bullying, because it is worse, it is more violent, it is more invasive, and it leaves the victims feeling much worse than you might imagine. So I think it's really important for us to just set the tone that what does bullying mean, what does online bullying mean, and what's the difference? Online bullying is also referred to as cyberbullying. So essentially it's everything. Think about the typical playground or school where somebody is mean to somebody else, mean to another child. Most schools today will not condone bullying. Most schools today are going to deal with any bully quite harshly, or they should, right? Every school makes it clear that they don't allow bullying in school. If it happens, the child should report, parents can report, and something is going to happen. Something is going to take place to stop the bully from continuing to doing what they're doing. Now, when it's online, it's much difficult. It's much more difficult to identify, it's much more difficult to stop it, and it's much more difficult to report it sometimes. So it's really important that as parents, first of all, we know what online bullying looks like, and then we understand how to protect our children from being victims of it. And it can happen at any age. It can happen at any age. We're finding it happening as young as 6, 7, 8 years old. So far, your child is online, has a device connected to the internet, and is able to get contacted by anybody in the world, they could potentially be a victim of bullying. Now, the second reason online bullying is increasing, in addition to what I mentioned earlier with children being online much more than ever before, another reason why online bullying is on the increase is because it's no more limited to children who are being bullied, for example, in school, right? So physical bullying typically would end in school. A child will go to school, there'll be 1 or 2 mean children, 1 or 2 bullies in school who bully them on the playground, bully them in the classroom, and that's where it ends. The difference with online bullying is it can be anyone in the world. It can be anyone from anywhere, any age, right? So it's no more about just the child that you know in school and you can identify who it is. Online bullying has a different flavor. It can be a predator. It can be anybody at all who has evil or nasty ideas, right? So once they can connect with a child online and they can groom them, they can get them to do certain things, bullying can also start from that aspect. So I want to talk about that one a little bit more first before we go into the bullying when it's from your age mates. So are we together so far? Bullying is increasing. I've explained why it's increasing. And now I want to talk about the types of online bullying that's existing. And remember, when I bring all of these things to you guys, to parents, I'm talking locally and globally. So I'm not only using examples that are from somewhere else in the world. These are examples that are also locally relevant, so that we can know that these things are happening right where we live as well. So wherever you're tuning in from, this is relevant to you, okay? The only difference might be that maybe certain countries have different rules when it comes to how they treat, harassment, digital harassment. Different countries might have their different ways of treating and dealing with those complaints. So however, going back to the fact that online bullying can be done by anybody, it's no more just your classmates or schoolmates. Anybody online can decide to bully a child. And many times this could also be predators. What some of them do is they actually groom your child. So I'm going to talk very quickly about what online grooming looks like. Online grooming is when somebody identifies somebody online. It could be a video game, it could be social media, it could even be WhatsApp. Last week I talked about how I got an inappropriate image sent to me on WhatsApp. Okay, so once somebody identifies somebody online and they can get them to engage with them. So they find them online, they get them to engage with them. Grooming usually means that they get the person to take certain actions, to share certain information, to give them an insight into their lives, so that once they can hook them and once they can get them comfortable with this predator online or this groomer online, they start to ask for increasing amount of information from that person. So let me paint the picture. An 8-year-old is innocently playing a video game, but we all know that video games nowadays are no more 2D. They're not one-dimensional, or it's not you versus a game. It's you versus many people online that you could be playing with. So somebody online comes on and starts to play with this 8-year-old child and becomes their friend, gets them comfortable with them, and then asks them to connect off the video game platform. So once they're able to take a child off the video game platform, they move them into another community or another platform. It could be WhatsApp, it could be any social media platform, and they start to talk to the child there. Once they start to talk to the child there and get the child comfortable, remember that this is a groomer, so they know exactly what they're doing. They get the child comfortable, they start telling the child to share certain pictures, or you can say, open your blouse really quick and take a picture, don't tell anybody. So that's how they start to get the child comfortable doing things that they otherwise wouldn't have, because they feel they've built a relationship with somebody online. But mind you, that person might not be the person that they told your child they are. And because our children are so innocent, they don't have any reason to think that this person online wants to harm them. They think they found a new friend. So they take that same excitement and innocence as a child to mix and to develop a relationship with this person online. So I'm building a story here. Let's follow through. So they meet on a video game, they move to another platform. The groomer starts to ask the child to share information. What's their name? Where do they live? How many siblings do they have? What do mommy and daddy do? Can you share a picture of you doing something? Show me your room. They start to do all of those kind of conversations. And because a child is spending so much time online now, away from the parents many times, the parent has no clue what the child is doing. You might think they're doing homework or they're just on YouTube. So that grooming happens, and then guess what? This is where digital harassment comes in, because that person who's been grooming this 8-year-old has them send all kinds of information, pictures, inappropriate content to them. The minute they get that from the child, they switch into bullying mode. And they start saying, if you don't send me more pictures, or if you don't do this or that, I am going to share the picture that I already have, where maybe you opened your blouse to me. I'm going to share it on social media and I'm going to tag you. Now remember, the groomer has gotten all this information about the child. So the child is really scared. Now you go into fear. The child is now scared and is like, oh, I'm in trouble. This person is going to expose me. Is going to tell my parents that I did this. This person knows where I live. This person knows my mommy's name, my daddy's name. Do you see how it happened? Suddenly that child is now stuck and feels that the only way out is to continue to share this information with this stranger online. That is how the rabbit hole starts, and that's how it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. But if you've had a conversation with your child to let them know that these types of things can happen online, suddenly the minute they start to see such requests, they know not to do that. They know not to go offline. They know not to go off their video game platform to start chatting with somebody else in another platform, because they know that that person on the video game that they started playing with, that's not their friend. It's a stranger. A stranger online is still a stranger. So do you see how important it is to have this communication with your children, to let them know what to do when they're online? Because if a child takes that same innocence and trust online, they can fall into wrong hands who have no positive intentions for your children. So that's just to paint one picture of one type of bullying that is happening online. And this is from people who are groomers, who know exactly how to get a child into a box. Suddenly, parents start to see a different attitude in the child. The child is becoming more withdrawn. The child is acting a little bit uncomfortable, but they feel they can't tell their mom and dad. Maybe there's no communication. Maybe they don't even think they can broach this topic with their parents. They don't know what to do. They can't report. I hope we're getting the picture. So that is an example of one type of bullying that is increasing. And why we have to talk about it more and more is that when a child knows that this exists, guess what? The child knows when to say no. The child knows when to identify that this is not something that I want to get into. So that's one example of online bullying that's happening a lot. So no matter what age your child is, whether 6, whether 7, so far they're online, you need to have these conversations with them that don't talk to a stranger online. Don't start talking to somebody that you don't know and start to trust them. Don't tell people where you live. Don't tell them your name. Don't tell them your parents' name, what school you go to. Do not share that private information with a stranger online. Because if you give information to the online bullies, it leads to digital harassment, and then the cycle gets very difficult to break. All right? Now, the other type of bullying that I really want us to talk about is that one that happens with your mates, your colleagues, classmates. And it takes several shapes and forms. And why online bullying is actually really dangerous to a child's mental state is bullying can then become 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, there's one thing about physical bullying, and it tends to end in school. But when you move to online bullying, that means that a child could be bullied in school, they get home, and guess what? The bullying continues online, in WhatsApp, in the Zoom chat room. It could be any platform. They just take that same bullying tactics and move it online, and your child then does not get a break. The child literally doesn't get a break because bullying can then take many forms. It happens in school and it continues online when they get home. So you really have to spend time talking to your child and help them understand what bullying is. Because sometimes friends can actually bully their other friends. And the friend doesn't think their friend is bullying them. They think, this is my friend. So they're not really bullying me. That's just how we do things online. No. Bullying is anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, makes you feel, you know, that I really shouldn't be doing this, or I don't feel great, or why did this person talk to me like that? Why did they say that? Those comments are not nice. And the truth is that once people are behind the screen, even adults do it, you get actually colder because there's a detachment that happens, and you don't feel the same emotion you would feel if somebody was literally right in front of you and you were actually being mean to them. It takes something away when you can be mean behind a screen. So the bully is actually nastier. So you need to help your child know that if anybody makes you feel uncomfortable, these are the steps to take. Number 1, let them tell you. They have to be able to communicate with an adult or a caregiver that they trust. Secondly, you know, I always say drop the drama. So you don't want to act all dramatic if your child tells you something. Let them finish speaking, understand how they're feeling about it, ask open-ended questions that gets them to communicate with you about how they're feeling, and then you can do something about it. And thirdly and lastly, you want to make sure that whatever format the bullying is taking, if it's online, you need to know what you can do on the platform. So platforms like Instagram, you can block a bully. You can block an account that's bullying you online by trolling you, sending nasty comments, maybe any picture your child puts on social media, that bully comes and says nasty comments about them. There are all kinds of formats of bullying online, which is also digital harassment. So when you know that it is inappropriate, you also want to empower your child so that the minute they are a victim, they don't even wait. They block the person, they report to that platform, and they do the needful to protect themselves from online bullying. So that is our topic for today that we're delving into. If you have questions, you can start to drop it. If you want to ask anything at all about how to identify if your child is a victim of online bullying, how to talk to your child to avoid being a victim of bullying, and also how to help your child understand what online bullying is. Because for some people, they cross the line. If a child is bored, can't go out, it's just feeling any way, they go online and they're using it as their outlet. So you want to help your child learn how to pause, how to self-reflect, and how to understand how they're truly feeling, so that they don't just take it out on an innocent person online. All right. So do we have any questions? I'm going to just scroll through and make sure I didn't miss any questions. So our TechThursday topic for parents today is about increase in online bullying, also called cyberbullying. A subset of it is also digital harassment, and it just means when people take the nastiness of bullying online to make somebody feel unkind, to make somebody feel less of themselves, to sometimes groom them to send inappropriate pictures so that they can start to blackmail them later and tell them that if you don't send me more of this type of pictures, or you don't do this or do that, I am going to expose the picture that I already have of you online, which is something that happens a lot. So you want to teach your children about digital footprint, which we'll talk about in another episode. Digital footprint is critical because guess what? Whatever you share online stays online. So our children need to also be aware of that. All right, I want any questions at all before I also, share one or two questions that came about this topic before. All right, so Febisola is saying, I appreciate the reminder about dropping the drama when our children tell us about a situation they are being exposed to. Well done. Okay. Yes, we need. I keep saying that because we have to remind ourselves. All of us have to remind ourselves. The reality is that the world seems to be shaking, and so many things are happening now that we're like, what is this again? But you need to make sure that your children feel that they can come and talk to you, and that you give them a safe space to truly tell you what they're going through, what they're seeing online, what they like, what they don't like, what makes them uncomfortable. Let them be able to tell you anything. And even if inside your chest is beating like drums, you want to have a calm disposition. And guess what? Get a little trick is, if you need to step away, just say, give me 1 second. Go to the bathroom if you have to and do a quiet scream and shake and pray, whatever you need to do. But when you're discussing with that child, you want to be in a calm position so that you can hear everything the child wants to tell you. So yes, Vemisola, we absolutely must continue to remember that. Drop the drama. All right, so another question I have is, somebody had asked me this before, so I'll just use that now while we wait for any more questions. They wanted to know how old to give a child a phone. And because a lot of bullying actually happens when children have smartphones. It's less likely to happen when they are using their laptops for school or for learning online. It's less likely to be bullied that way. However, when a child has a phone, the minute they have a phone, the likelihood of being bullied online goes through the roof because they're on it more. The phone by default is addictive. The apps are addictive. So once a child gets into using them, they want to stay on. And that's where online bullying can actually increase, because the more time you spend doing something, the more chances that you will find the negative side of those things, of that particular thing. And it's just, I guess that's just life. So what age should your child have a smartphone? I would say number one, you need to know your child. You need to understand why you're giving them the phone. And you need to make sure that your child can handle being connected to the world 24 hours, 7 days a week. I don't think a child less than 10, less than 13 really should have a smart device and should be on social media. I just don't think they're ready. And when you check a lot of these apps and social media platforms, they themselves have minimum ages. I don't know if you knew that. A lot of these platforms have minimum ages themselves. Some of them, the minimum age that they recommend is 13. So if they are saying that their products should be used by somebody who's minimum 13 years old, why are you giving your 8-year-old or 7-year-old or 9-year-old a smartphone and access to social media platforms? You have to ask yourself why. Don't just do what seems to be trending because everybody else is doing it. Our motto at LagosMums is we're intentional parents, so we think twice about what we're doing and why are we doing it. So we really need to keep that in the back of our minds. All right, so is there any other comment, topic? If you also have any topic you'd like me to cover, please feel free to DM me, because myself and my team are looking at all the topics we want to cover, and then that will help us determine what we should discuss during our Tech Thursdays. And remember, this is going to be happening every Thursday, by God's grace, 7 to 7:30. It's one topic that's going to be around Tech Thursday for parents. We'll talk about something that has to do with raising successful digital citizens. We can all run away from tech. We can all run away from digital media. We can't run away from social media. It is here to stay. But as a parent in the 21st century, our job is to make sure that we are equipped, we have the knowledge that we need, and we can therefore help our children to navigate the world that they are in now, so that they know exactly how to make the right decisions when they're online. Because I'll say it again, being online is not all bad and it's not all good. Think about digital media diet. It's like a diet, a balanced diet. Nobody can eat puff puff every day, right? Nobody can eat puff puff every day. You have to eat a little bit of everything. So it's the same thing with digital media. It's the same thing with being online. You need to have the right mix of the good and the bad. And sorry, actually, you don't want the bad. You want to eliminate the bad. But the only way to do that is for our children to know what bad online habits and behaviors look like. Okay. Not seeing any questions. Hey, Tosin. Hello. All right. So remember to follow LagosMums on all our platforms so that you can get more information around raising children, parenting, and 21st century matters, right? So that we can win this parenting matter. We are going to win, and we're going to raise adults who know exactly how to self-regulate when it comes to operating in the digital world that we're in today. Okay. All right, I don't see any questions. Let me make sure I'm not missing any question. Okay, I'm not. So I'm going to just hang out here till 7:30 because that's when we're ending this session. 7 to 7:30, short and sharp. I know we're all busy, but I want to make sure that these conversations are had and that we're able to be real with ourselves and stop hiding. Nobody can say they don't know. You have to know so that you can actually help your child make sense of the world that we're in today. Hello, Mr. Akinlami. Thank you for joining. We're just wrapping up. So thank you for everybody who joined today. If you have any questions, if any questions pop up later, you can feel free to send it to me in my DM. You know, you can send me a message on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, email us, go to our website, and we will get back to you if you have a specific question about your child's ability to navigate the online space, to be a responsible digital citizen, if you need any help at all to make sure that you're communicating with your child, because some parents just feel that they don't know what to say to their child to help them navigate this online space. If you know that is you, please get help. Please reach out to somebody, reach out to me. I'm a parenting coach and I focus a lot on digital media and the effect of the online world on our children. So if you need help, don't suffer alone, don't suffer in silence. Go out there and ask somebody that can help you navigate this particular challenge. All right. Okay. That's it for today. I will share the replay on my page. Make sure you get all your friends, all the parents that you know to join us every Thursday at 7 to 7:30 as we discuss a different topic under Tech Thursday for Parents and Raising Successful Digital Citizens. Thanks everybody. Nifesi, if you can please put a link, if you're on, can you kindly put a link to our newsletter? So if anybody wants to subscribe to our newsletter so that you can get information about all the programs that we have for parents. We have several programs for different parents with children of different ages. So there's something for everybody, and we just make sure that our calendar is very robust. So there's something for you no matter the age of your children and what stage and season of life that you're in. Nifesi, are you there? Okay, I don't think she's on, so I will be sure to share it in the notes when we replay this and post it on our page on IGTV. So thanks again for tuning in to our second episode of Tech Thursday for Parents with Yeti Williams, founder CEO of LagosMums, and we are raising children in the 21st century, so we need to be equipped and we need to understand what it takes to succeed in this dispensation that we're in. Today's topic was increase in online bullying and to identify what it means and why online bullying is so pervasive, why it's actually more dangerous sometimes than physical bullying, and how to ensure that your child understands what to do if they actually face or if they're a victim of online bullying, as well as knowing what to do, how to communicate with you, and what you can do as a parent yourself. Pay attention to them, pay attention to how they're feeling, make sure that you're not seeing signs that are worrying. So if they're starting to retreat into themselves, they don't want to talk to anybody, they're more fearful, you want to pay attention to what's happening in the online space. try to ensure that they're also using their devices somewhere where everybody can see. I know it's not always perfect, but you want to make sure, if possible, that they're using their devices in the open, in open living spaces. Reduce your child taking their devices into their room, especially overnight. Okay, these are just some of the things that as responsible parents we can do to reduce the chances of our children becoming victims to online bullying and other negative activities happening online. So have a lovely evening. Thank you again for tuning in. Until next week, Thursday. Bye.